Hi everyone, welcome back. Have you ever made a decision knowing deep down it wasn't the right one, but you did it anyways? You hear that little voice in your head saying, "Don't do it. This is a really bad idea," but you ignore it. And later, you're left asking yourself, why didn't I listen? Well, today we're talking about that inner voice, what it is, why we ignore it, and why doing so can have serious consequences in the long run. Let's get into it. First things first, what is that little voice? You know, the one that says, maybe you shouldn't text your ex, or do you really need another slice of pizza right now? That voice is your inner intuition or conscious. It's like an internal compass guiding you toward what's best for you. This voice comes from a mix of experiences, values, and instincts. It's your brain way of saying, hey, I've seen this pattern before and it did not end well for us. Essentially, it's trying to protect you from harm, whether that's emotional, physical, or even financial. But here's the kicker: even though this voice is there to help, we ignore it all the time. Why? Well, there's a few reasons. The first reason is instant gratification. Let's be honest, we are all wired to want and feel good right now. Maybe that bad decision offers quick pleasure, like staying up all night scrolling on social media, even though you know you will regret it tomorrow. Another reason is fear of missing out. Sometimes we ignore our inner voice because we don't want to miss out. Whether it's saying yes to a party when you're already burnt out or agreeing to something you're not comfortable with. FOMO can overpower that voice of reason. Another reason is we don't trust ourselves. Here's a deeper one. We often ignore our inner voice because we doubt it. Maybe you think, what if I'm overreacting? Or everyone else is doing it, so it must be fine. But by doing this, you're silencing your own wisdom. Lastly, social pressure. Social pressure is a huge factor. Sometimes that little voice screams, "This isn't you," but you go along with what others want because it's easier than standing up for yourself. So, what happened to us when we repeatedly ignore that inner voice? Let me break it down for you. It erodes your self trust. Every time you ignore your intuition, you're essentially telling yourself, I do not trust my own judgment. Over time, this makes it harder to make decisions confidently, and you start looking for external validation instead of trusting your gut. It creates regret. How many times have you looked back and thought, I knew that was a bad idea? Ignoring your inner voice often leads to regret because deep down you knew better, but you chose to go against it. It leads to repeated mistakes. When you ignore your inner voice, you're more likely to repeat the same bad decision. That little voice is there to help you learn and grow. But if you silence it, you stay stuck in harmful patterns. You know, like repeating the same mistake over and over, overspending, or dating the same toxic type of person. Let's not forget the emotional toll. Ignoring your inner voice often leads to stress, anxiety, and guilt. Over time, things can weight you down and even affect your mental health. The good news is you can rebuild that connection with your inner voice. And I'll give you some tips of how to do it. First, you should pause and reflect. When you're faced with a decision, take a moment to pause. Ask yourself, how does this feel? If something feels off, that is your intuition trying to warn you. Another step is to journal your thoughts. Journaling is a great way to reconnect with your inner voice. Write down your thoughts and feelings about a decision. It helps you sort out what is noise and what's your intuition. An important step is practicing saying no. Sometimes your inner voice is telling you to say no, but fear of pressure makes you say yes. Start small. Practice saying no to things that do not align with your values or well being. And lastly, reflect on past decisions. I know, we hate having to look inwards, but think about times when you ignore your intuition. What happened? Use those experiences to remind yourself why your inner voice deserves to be heard. The good thing is, there is long-term benefits of listening to your inner voice. When you start honoring that little voice, amazing things can happen. You build self-trust, make better decisions, and feel more in control in your life. Over time, this creates a ripple effect. You start living a life that truly aligns with who you are. Your inner voice isn't just there to annoy you, it's there to guide you towards your best self. So, the next time you hear that little whisper, don't ignore it. Trust it. Listen to it. And most importantly, act on it. Well, thanks for spending this time with me today. If this video resonates with you, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might need to reconnect with their inner voice. And of course, hit subscribe for more deep dives into living your best life. Until next time, trust yourself. You got this. Bye.